So in today's video I'm going to show you how we are increasing the fertility in the soil in the township where we plan to solve poverty with permaculture. I'm going to give you an update on that project in the township and introduce you to Matthias' baby, and then I'm going to tell you how my wife changed the entire dynamic of our marriage with one little swoop of a knife. We are back in the township at Matthias' house, and it struck us that even though we gave the trees a little bit of mulch next to it, this soil is so hot that my hand is burning as I'm putting it down there. My children can't walk around on it. Quickly want to show you the inside of Matthias' house. So this is Matthias' wife, Maria. Sorry, Maria. And Maurus, how old is he now, Matthias?
He's
2 weeks.
Yeah.
2 weeks. He's 2 weeks old now. He's never been outside of the house yet because it's too hot outside. And so this is the kitchen area of the house. On that side of the wall they are renting out that room. And then on this side they have a bedroom where all of them sleep. And as you can imagine, this corrugated iron gets extremely hot during the day and extremely cold during the night. But that is not his biggest problem. At the moment his biggest problem, sorry Matthias, is that we don't have a toilet here yet. And so that is quite a problem. They don't have running water yet, but we are thinking of connecting the running water there. And then because there's a municipal pipeline, there's a municipal pipeline running here, right behind this fence here. So we can connect municipal water here, and then let me show you my plans. You can tell me in the comments whether you think it's nice plans or not. We are thinking of using the soil that he dug out of this pit. See, last time I couldn't show you how deep it is. Down there, using all of this soil to fill bottles, and then build a bottle bathroom. You can almost say use the walls as bricks, the bottles as bricks, and build a bathroom. And then the black water falls in here, and then next to it there and there we plant big shade trees to use the compost and the water, and then to shade this whole yard in the morning, because that is the eastern side over there. So that trees will then shade this whole yard for most of the morning. Right, back to the papayas. So I realized two things. The soil is extremely hot, so we need mulch, and the soil is extremely dead, so we need fertility. And so we made a plan. We brought that bakkie. So I'm teaching Matthias how to turn this drum into a worm drum, and this is to give fertility to the papayas that we have made. I'm also going to give him some worms to start his compost, and give him some compost to start his system. Hopefully the skills that he learns here today can then enable him to make these drums and hopefully sell it to other people, and hopefully the babies of his worms can then be used to start his own business and sell worms to people. So here I want to show you something interesting. This is where we found some mulch to mulch that place. And I don't know if you can see it, but look at all of those trees. And all of these trees could have been food producing. The reason why it looks so lush here is because there's a water coming in there, and then there's no way for it to go out there unless it sort of floods this whole plain here. The water comes in there. And Look at that huge tree. Look at the size of the pickup against that tree. This is what what Varongo can look like. And all of these trees could have been food producing trees. This is what the township can look like. This is what we can live with if we only harvest water.
Okay, here comes our mash, the backing of the mash with my boss. So
So I just laughed. I asked Matthias what his wife thinks, and he said no, he will explain to her, but she will not understand. And then I said, no man, you must at least try. And then Maria was standing there very shy of the camera. Maria then said to me, no, she understands more than he does. Tell us, Maria, what are we doing? Why are we putting the leaves?
For mulching, to prevent too much water loss, since it's very hot here and the plants are getting dry easily, quickly.
Exactly. You see, Matthias, sometimes the ladies know more than us. You must just trust them. Yeah, you must listen to your wife. Eh? And now that the mulch is all around the papaya trees, I want to show you what we are doing for fertility. So this is the drum that Matthias has built earlier today, and hopefully he will build it for the rest of the location. So inside it's still empty obviously, but down there we put a little shade cloth, and it comes out here. So if you pour water in on top, it will go through the worm castings, and you'll put a bucket down there and catch it. Once the compost fills up, you can put either his hands or a shovel in here, take the worm castings out. The worms will then move up in the drum to the top and compost at the bottom. So as soon as you remove the compost, it will fall down, and then you can put more compost on the top. Matthias, you can start putting in the things. So we close that little door for now, and then I gave him half a bag of vermicompost with worm eggs and so on in there, and then I gave him some worms. I hope I can find a couple, but maybe I gave him some red wigglers, and then I gave him half of a bag of our biochar. So the biochar will now be mixed with the worm castings, and it will get charged. So one day when he removes the compost from down there, the biochar would have been charged, and it would add, it would be fantastic compost or fantastic compound to plant things in. Don't know if you know the benefits of biochar, but they are wonderful, and I want to introduce it into the township here, because as you can imagine, there's a lot of fires going here. Not a lot of people have electricity. There is some, but most of the food here still gets cooked on fires. So if I can start introducing biochar and worm castings into this township, then it can work fantastic. So this, not to become philosophical or something, but this might be the match that lights the fire for this whole township. This can be ground zero. This can be where paradise starts, and if I work hard enough, I can make it happen. And if Matthias works hard enough, which he does, then we can make it happen together. We are adding water now. Quickly, I want to show you how it works. We mixed all of the ingredients, and so he's adding the little bucket below, adding water to the top, and if the bucket is not too dry, stir slowly. Okay, so in theory you should now get worm tea from the bottom there, you see. So every day you can add some water to the top, get worm tea from there, and then add it to his papayas. Now in the middle here you get the black water or the grey water, everything that he uses for washing. And then around the papayas, I'm not sure if this camera because I'm using a phone. My phone broke and I'm using somebody else's phone. If this camera can't takes it nicely, but there's papayas here, and so we are going to plant pumpkins now between them as well, so we have a living ground cover. And so
Which one? No, there is red wafers here inside, which are making compost. Now, for them to live, we have to add water and these other things like the mess of petrol water hose and this
the manure.
So,
Mess in English is manure.
manure, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, from there, your story is this water. You are only going to, this the water that you are going to put in those plants. Either not in the hole, you can just pour it straight direct to the plants. And the other dirty water is the one that you pour in the hole. Understand? So here, as it's now soon going to rain, since we are also having some pumpkins.
Nice and dark, eh? Okay, they will grow nicely. So am I really a YouTuber if I haven't made a video in a car yet? Thank you for watching my bumpy video. My wife went to do some shopping quickly, so I'm waiting in the car, and I thought this is the right time to quickly tell you a story and to thank everybody for the coffee. I'm not sure where the camera is, so I'm looking there and there and there. Anyway, everybody for the coffee this week. We haven't used the money for this project yet. This money was funded by some selling of some earthworms that I'm very grateful for, and but the money from the coffee that you guys bought me will help me start building that toilet and set up that system. And so I'm really grateful for everybody that bought me coffee. Right, so I want to tell you quickly when the story for this video. When we just got married, now since I remember, since I was born, I was somebody that just wanted to get married. I was born to be married. I was born to be a husband. I read books when I became old enough to read on how to be a good husband. I read books on education. I was always ready just to be married and to be a good husband. And so that scared off a lot of girls, obviously. As soon as I start dating somebody, I would tell them, listen, if you're not going to marry me, then don't date me. And so most of them is like, hell no, especially if you're 16. And so they would run away. And it was the same with my wife. I'll tell you another story on how we met, but on day 3 I basically said to her, listen, if you're going to I'm not asking you to marry me, but if you're not going to marry me, tell me as soon as you know you're definitely not going to marry me, then we sort of stop wasting our time. And so she said, thank God you're not asking me to marry you. And yes, I will tell you if I know for sure that I'm not going to marry you. But yeah, so we knew each other 3 months. Dated 3 months. Dated from day 1. I knew I liked her from the first day I saw her. And then after 3 months I asked her to marry me. So we were engaged for another 3 months and then we got married. But we dated long distance. I only saw her on the weekends. So by the time I married her, I actually really didn't know her at all. I knew that, I'm from the farm, but if you measure me against her, it looks like I'm from town, And so she was really a farm girl. She was managing a farm, and she's a very feminine, fragile lady. And that was my impression of her, it's this breakable lady. And I remember one day tragedy struck on the farm she was in. She lost, some people tried to steal horses, and they chased them over the roads at night, and there was an accident and they had to put down 6 horses. And it was a huge accident. They lost 6 horses. The trucks were messed up. It was tragic. And so I drove from Pretoria to Bethlehem in the Free State to go and be with her. And I remember holding her, and she was completely broken. And I thought, this young lady, I'd give my life to make her happy and to heal, or to be there while she's healing. And I remember this was sort of the feeling I had about her, is a small little fragile thing that I can protect. And so when we got married, it was a huge move, because at the same time we got married, we dated in South Africa. I got a job in Namibia as a builder. So we got married in Namibia. Our family's from here, my family's from here. And then we moved to a place called Kamanyap, where my grandmother was also lived also. And we moved during the day. I was a builder, and then at night we would live in a small stone house, and there was no electricity, just water, and we didn't have to pay rent. Our only thing that we had to do is we had to employ the gardener, because he was sort of family, the family felt very strongly about him that we rented from. We had to pay his salary, and we had to keep the garden alive, and we had to keep some chickens alive. And so I remember every morning we would make coffee, walk through the garden and plan our day. And then one day I said to her, these hens are not laying any eggs. And she said, yeah, there's too many roosters here. And I said, yeah, we should make a plan. And so I came there at night, and I sort of, there was this chicken on the table, and the one leg was sort of like this, and the other one was scrolled up, and it was bluish meat. And, newly married, I don't want to insult her food. But I ended up asking her, where did you get this strange, chicken that tastes like leather? And she said, no, I killed the roosters today. And I realized, this young little fragile thing, just with a little swoop of a knife, she could finish me. And so with that, I realized that I might be the head of the household, but only because she allows me to. And so that gave me a whole new perspective on my wife. And it was a pleasure getting to know her over the years. But yeah, you never know, These small little fragile things, they can be dangerous.